Welcome. This video is about transcending the limited ideas that we have about life. It's about seeing beyond the limited ideas of the separateness of each moment or each location or each life, and knowing that each is embedded into a larger picture, a larger context, a grander purpose than we see yet. This is the context to understand everything from. We can understand greater purpose in even the most difficult times in this way. So what's the grand scheme of life? The grand scheme of love? Can we know what it is? I'm Dr. Lynette Wiest, and you're watching Wisdom's Peaceful Harmony. If you want to be sure to be notified of future videos, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notification bell. And if you like this video, please click the like button. Now, I'm first going to talk about physical interconnectedness or physical unity. Then I'm going to talk about transcending the limited metrics that our brains typically use for organizing and categorizing our lives. I'll talk about how our lives are embedded into a unity that is beyond the physical unity, how each life is an extension of a greater unity. First, please recognize that we are each a part of and embedded into love's grand scheme for life. And when we act in loving ways, we can feel and know that we are helping to manifest it into the physical world. When we act in unloving ways, we separate ourselves from it and we feel alone, isolated, and miserable. When we are unloving, we block ourselves from seeing our connection to the amazing power that we are embedded into and that transcends each individual life. And so first, what is physical unity? Well, we can see that a mountain is formed by other elements. Our bodies are also formed of many elements. Physically, everything is interdependent. This is a way of seeing physical unity. But even in physical unity, we are measuring with metrics like sight and separation. Although these elements create and form each other, they are still separate according to our typical metrics. Whether we differentiate visually by color or by the density of the element or any other way of measuring, humans see each other as separate. Even when we see two people hug each other with no noticeable space between them, we think of them as physically separate beings, and they are. They're separate. Think of a family system where each person impacts the thoughts, the feelings, the behavior, and the life story of the others. We see each person as one part of the whole. This is still a physical unity. It is within time and space. It's best to interpret the information of our physical senses, sight, touch, sound, smell, and taste, through a lens of love, the lens that thinks from the context of connection, of cooperation and unity, rather than a lens that sees separateness, isolation, and competition. But we are still talking about a physical context. Now think beyond a family, or beyond a community, or beyond a nation, or beyond anything that can be seen physically. To transcend limited physical context, we must look beyond the physical information. We must interpret the world in ways that create thoughts of love and the awareness of our interdependence beyond the physical, of our lives being embedded into a greater awareness, a unity consciousness, a unity consciousness. This consciousness creates thoughts and actions that serve the world with knowledge that we act as extensions from one body or one source, each impacting the whole as interdependent parts. We are each a part of a system beyond our brain's understanding. Our consciousness is constantly evolving, and in this moment, our brain only understands what is similar to what it already knows about. But guess what? That's not all there is. Don't be attached to the brain's judgments, resentments, habits, or any of the ideas that the brain has that are no longer useful. Allow the mind to transform and identify with something greater than what it already holds. Realize that the physical unity formed by loving thoughts, actions, and feelings, our physical unity is an outcome or expression of an origin, a unity consciousness. Physical unity that is created by unloving ways eventually fades. It doesn't create life. That's why it's uncomfortable. But because it does exist for a time, it has usefulness. When we use love's understanding, unity's consciousness, and trust love's grander scheme, the discomfort becomes information, teaching us how to navigate and weave more love into the physical unity from love's grand scheme. Love's unity consciousness that we are each embedded into. The discomfort that we do have, it shows us where to put more love into the physical world. From love's unity consciousness that we are embedded into, we can bring more love into the physical world. It's best to stay detached from what's not lasting. Stay detached from what doesn't last. But we can't do this perfectly. So when we attach to something that's not lasting in a way that blocks our expression of love's unity, we can feel it. And we can know it's okay to let go, to detach. This is sometimes called forgiveness. We can learn lessons about how to navigate unloving elements while we do not carry them with us. To recognize them and navigate about them, but not to attach to them. Don't carry them. Our brains orient our lives according to time and space. However, we do not have to be limited to this orientation. Time and space give us a way to organize and categorize. And although our brain's default system operates within the metrics of time and space, these metrics can also be seen as the doorway to something larger, rather than them being seen as defining something that we're inside of. See space and time as an opening rather than as a box. Everything is an opportunity for growth. Don't judge any situation as good or bad. Each moment, whether it's comfortable or not, can itself be treated with love and compassion. Each moment is alive, and we do our best by loving each moment, knowing it is embedded into a greater purpose than we are aware of. In this way, we evolve our minds into more of love's unity consciousness. These things have a greater purpose than what we're currently knowing, but we evolve our minds by loving them. And then we can understand more about love's unity consciousness. What would it mean to understand the world in a way that transcends time and space metrics? In a way that these operate as secondary metrics rather than as primary metrics. There is a physical unity and there is a consciousness unity, a unity consciousness. These are not quite the same. Transcending from physical unity to unity consciousness is a quantum leap. Religions are constantly trying to define this, and regrettably they compete about which religion is correct. And then that causes separation and competition and distracts from the power of love's unity that the religion seeks to understand. To transcend the limits of physical unity, we must first be willing to allow ourselves the freedom to know that we are each a tiny part of a unity that exists beyond what we are physically. And we must accept that this unity is expressed through each life. Each of us is more than just the life that our brains comprehend. The brain is a physical organ. It's useful, but it doesn't know how to see beyond itself. We know that there is more to the world than the limited knowledge our brains currently understand. Our brains learn from the idea of time, but we can tap into other paradigms, taking us to a new level of understanding and context. Sometimes we call these the light bulb moments. The mind can only add together what it already has. But because we are extensions from something greater, we can imagine things that seem to be too great to believe. These ideas can seem disorienting, like they are from another orientation. So where do these ideas come from? Well, artists of all kinds, they say that they can feel something expressing and pushing through them to create certain art forms. Pushing through them as if it were coming into them from somewhere else. Each of our lives is another example of this art form coming to and through each of us to create the art form of our physical life. Religions describe these moments as revelations from God. Some religions say that the brain would not survive if it was faced with the infinite amount of love that exists. Once the mind can comprehend any expression of this grand scheme of love's unity, the possibility of it is available to be expressed in the physical form of one's life. It's what we call creation. When the mind can comprehend just any little bit of this, it comes into the physical life. It can come into the physical life and create. We are each an extension of love's unity consciousness. Unity consciousness expressing as physical unity. As all life and all love that exists throughout times and spaces and dimensions, the connective tissue of unity consciousness is love. We do not create love. We are expressions of love. As we express love, we express more of our whole selves into the physical world. As we express love, we express more of our whole self into the physical world. Each being is and has all the ingredients of love. And each being will never be loved for anything else. In both love's unity and physical unity, each life is a necessary part of all life. Even when we cannot physically see love's peace, the heart filled with love's truth confidently knows the internal peace and unity that is always unfolding from the grander scheme of life. Love's truth exposes the power of unity we are each embedded into. We have access to this power. In the fullness of truth that is beyond our brain's understanding, we find our heart's joy, love, and fulfillment. No one can take this away. Sometimes we lose sight of it, but that's because we are distracted by the limited ideas that we are only separate beings. Sometimes we forget the truth of unity, and that's normal. But when that happens, return to the truth and know that love's divine truth is the lifeblood to all life, giving us the peaceful power to fulfill all desires and intentions that stem from love's unity. Now, when we arrived on this planet, we become a part of something bigger than just what is physically here. We're a part of something that is bigger than what is physically here. And when we arrive, we have the opportunity to create here. Even from within physical unity, we can see the past, the stars that are light years away. It's like reading a book. It's like reading a history book in the sky. The lights we see from the stars are the words of what happened long ago. And today, we know so much more about our physical unity in time than we used to. We are impacted by what took place thousands of years ago, but we are only ever existing in the present moment. And we are connected to all of it, all time, in the moment of now. Let go of the idea that everything must be measured, categorized, and separated. Instead, look at how all are connected right now. When we say, what we say impacts the world. When we put things into the world, anything we put into the world, it impacts the world. The things that we say impacted the world long ago are embedded into love's unity, and then that's extended to us and impacting us in this present moment, transcending the idea of separation. We can start to know our existence as the unity of everything. Recognize that our lives are greater than we can imagine, and we can know more about the unity we are all embedded into and significant to. Remember that no matter what you think you see, each life has within it the expression of love's unity. Divine love creates spiritual life. It does not allow spiritual death. Divine love creates the peace of transcendence, even in the midst of what appears to be a disaster. The only thing to fear losing is love. Your love, though, is infinite. All of love is infinite. It can't be lost. It can be misunderstood. Love is infinite. It is conscious. It's what we're made of. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please click on the like button and subscribe and turn on your notification bell if you would like to see more videos from this channel. There are videos that I've done about love's power, about nature, relationships, and communication skills, and it is free to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Welcome.